This is our new water heater over here. Okay, so remember how I showed you guys my sourdough starter the other day? So this is my very first sourdough loaf. So I've been using this discard to make crackers, and I think I finally found crackers that I like. They are chive flavored, and so I'll have to show you one day how I make those because they're so good. Like I can't even show you. I've made like 3 batches, and between the kids, they've eaten them all. So but this is my first loaf, so it just got done coming out of the fridge for its cold proof. So I'm going to be transferring it into the Dutch oven, and then making this one. I didn't have a lot of starter left over. It ended up leaving me with about a 50. Hopefully that focuses. It ended up leaving me with about 50 grams of starter, and so I fed the starter last night. So let me move this out of the way. I fed the starter last night, and so it left me with about 50 grams. So I did a double feeding for it to make sure I have enough today to discard and make crackers with. But it ended up being about here, which is 350 milliliters, and so it went ahead and increased to 450 overnight. And so with it being so little, I was worried about the starter, but as you can see, the starter is still bubbling. It's doing good. So there are going to be many more loaves and crackers to come, but I'm excited about this. This is just a standard loaf, and then once I get comfortable making a couple loaves, then I can start adding in like herbs and like spices and, you know, like cinnamon and all that kind of stuff. So I think that'll be fun. But right now I'm going to wash out my Dutch oven really quick and then get this thing into the oven. I have to score it first and then get it into the oven, and then we'll see how it actually tastes. Okay, I went ahead and did my expansion joints with my little razor blade. So I did the big one on the side, and then I just wanted to try some little pretty ones. I do have some stencils where I could stencil and then put some flour over the stencil, so it'll kind of create like a little design, but we will save that for a future thing. So right now the oven is preheating at 450. I currently have my Dutch oven inside of the oven also preheating along with it. So in about less than an hour we should have some sourdough. Okay, so I just took the bread out. This is what it looks like. I have my expansion joint. I took it out a little bit early because I think the bottom started to burn. So when I bake it uncovered, I'll have to leave it in there for a less amount of time, or I might have to raise the thing. But I probably should have made these cuts a little bit deeper. Maybe also this cut a little bit deeper, but it did expand pretty well. It has a nice little crust on it. So I'm going to cut it open and see what the inside looks like. It's still hot, but this is going to be part of breakfast this morning. Wait, kids. So I gotta hurry this up because the kids are attacking me because I gave them a little taste. So it does this little, I think this little spring form that people do where it kind of comes back, but that's what it looked like. So that's where the bottom started to burn a little bit. So I probably will move the rack up. I need to get a bread knife because this was tough to cut with just a regular knife. I ended up grabbing, Girlie has a knife set, and it has kind of like that serrated edges like a bread knife, so I used her knife. It was a little bit better than mine, but yeah, we're gonna go ahead and have this with some breakfast. Okay. Hello. So, quick update. You should be able to hear me. I'm hoping you can hear me over the generator. But today is day 2 of the winter storm. Yesterday it was pretty much rainy all day yesterday, and then today it's been raining off and on, but we've been nice and toasty in the camper. We've been keeping it about unintentionally 85 degrees in there, so we will take it. I think it's about 57 degrees right now, and it's probably about late afternoon, so we have a few more hours of daylight. But Elijah just went and got some water, so he's currently over here transferring it on the trailer. We did end up getting our new water heater. The new one that we ended up getting gets mounted on the inside, which will be great because we are going to be insulating the inside. The day before yesterday, since we knew that the rain was going to be coming, I went ahead and I put steel wool mesh inside of all the little bottom floor gaps inside the storage container. Sorry, inside of the little mini shed. and then I went in with spray foam and spray foamed all the gaps that were in this roof and all the gaps that were in the flooring, basically to keep as much air out. And then today we had a break in the wind. We previously had our water heater partially mounted, but we finally got it actually mounted, and then we cut open the vent hole and everything for that. And then we also ended up running our hot water PEX pipe, which I'll show you how it's ran on the inside, but on the outside of Terry, we're gonna have to trench so that we can bury the line. So we did end up setting it up so that all we have to do is dig the trench and just drop the extra pipe in the hole, and then it will go straight into Terry so that we can have that done. But we'll probably dig that trench the same time that we set up the PEX line for the cold water. But I'm gonna go ahead and take you inside the shed. I'm hoping you can hear me. The water pump is running and the generator is currently running, so we're gonna test it out and see how good these mics are. Okay, so this is the shed that you guys remember. So as you can see up here, this is the spray foam where I spray foamed from the inside. That's kind of sticking out. And then this door we just keep shut. So don't mind the water in there, because when we were setting up the water line, we had accidentally, I didn't push the PEX pipe fully into the little bite push connector thingy, and so it was spraying everywhere. So we had to turn the water off and fix that. But you can see down here, I went through and I spray foamed every single one of these gaps going around the entire bottom. So previously you could see straight outside, and then you can kind of like see, I think it's more apparent over here. Yeah, you can kind of see I jam-packed the area with steel mesh. So down there you can see the steel mesh kind of sticking out, but it's from like there to all the way up here is filled with steel mesh, and then the spray foam on top of it, so that will keep any critters from coming out. And then up here on the roof, I did the same exact thing where I went ahead and spray foamed. These little gaps right here, those were like very tiny gaps, so I just decided to just take it across to get it all completely filled up. So far we are loving this little mini shed. And so now that we don't have to worry about, you know, putting all this stuff inside our actual shed, so we'll be quieter, because this thing when it's pressurizing is loud, this thing when it's heating up is loud, so it will be nice to not have to worry about that. But pretty much this is our new water heater over here. It is electric and it's propane, so the electric just runs the screen, and then that little pipe there is our propane pipe that leads outside to where our propane tank is. Eventually, we do have this connected to a separate propane line, but eventually Elijah's going to get a longer propane line so we can just plug it into one of Terry's propane lines that he capped off, so that we can have that. Over here is where the cold water comes in at, and then this is the line that we ended up setting up the PEX line on this side. Okay, so we're gonna go in there. Elijah turned off the pump since he's done with the water, so he's gonna move some stuff around. So this is the hose that we're temporarily using to transfer water from out of the tank into the tank outside. So when we haul water, this one is taking the hauled water and putting it into our water storage. And then this is our cold line that runs off to Terry. This is the one that we're gonna be swapping out for PEX pipe. It's just the normal standard RV hose, so we wanna switch that to PEX pipe. The blue one, just like this one, and then we'll have that coming out of here, and then it will divert down, and then so and so. So this one over here is pulling water from our storage water tank. And then this thing pressurizes itself. I think I've showed you this before. I don't remember how much detail I've gone into it, but whatever. So pretty much this is not done in here yet. We still need to insulate it, so we're going to do spray foam insulation on all the walls, and then maybe on the ceilings, because we want to make sure that we keep it a good temperature during winter and also during summer. Once we get our proper PEX line running there, we'll seal up the hole there, and then we'll seal up that inlet outlet there. And then we'll do like cord management and all that kind of stuff. And then this does have a vent, so it is meant to be mounted indoors, but they give you a vent, so we ended up putting a vent hole there. We did not close up the vent hole yet because This stuff I'm pretty sure is not heat rated. The stuff that I use to do up there to fill the gaps is not heat rated, so we need to get the proper heat rated foam or heat tape. I can't remember which one it is, but it will spray in to fill up that gap, but we're not really worried about much coming in there for now. Without it being spray foamed for about a week, I believe, we haven't had any critters or anything hanging out in here, so that is good. And then our water heater is mounted with the 2 wooden boards. We ended up putting another board on the opposite side to kind of sandwich, because the metal, it's strong but it's still thin, so I just wanted to make sure we had enough brace to hold this because this is heavy. But yeah, this thing is great. Okay, so I also wanted to show you guys these connectors. So I didn't know that these existed until Elijah came home with them. And so typically with the PEX pipes, you use a connector that looks just like this, but it is a permanent one, and it's one that inserts inside the PEX pipe for more permanent solution. These ones are push to connect ones. So with these ones, you have the option to disconnect them later if you just need to use them for a temporary solution. So right now, with all of our pipes that we have running outside of Terry, we've been using these guys. I don't know what they range for in price compared to the traditional ones, but it doesn't need any type of special tubing. It doesn't need any type of special tubes. You just take the PEX pipe and you just push it right in there, and then once you hear it click, it's basically connected, no leaks. You don't have to worry about anything, and it's so easy, like no extra tools. Like, of course, we're not going to use these for our house because honestly, I don't know how well they're rated for permanent insulation. I'm assuming that they should be fine. We're going to use traditional fittings for the PEX pipe for the house, but as far as like for sheds or like running lines for Terry that we're doing right now, like this is honestly a great option to use. So if you guys haven't heard these, I think the name brand version of these are Shark Bites, but these ones are just push to connects that we bought off of Amazon. So yeah. So with us expecting the temperature for the next few days to be at overnight temperatures to be like in the 20s, probably about 27, 30 degrees. Our plan is to make sure that we drain the lines tonight before we go to bed. We did it another night, and when we repressurized the tank the next morning, the water lines ran perfectly fine since there was no water in them to freeze. So we're gonna pretty much be draining our lines for the next week or so. So I think what we might end up doing is going into the storage container and getting out our blue jug, so that we can drain the lines inside of Terry into the jug and then just pour it right back into the water tote the next morning, so that we don't have to worry about, just because our tank pressurizes a minimum of 5 gallons of water, and that's just asking for, that's a lot for the next, say that we do it for like the next week, that's 30 gallons of water, and I'm like, we can go get water, but I just feel like it's a little bit wasteful, and it's not even like I can water any plants with it either because it's raining. And so we'll probably end up doing that to help refurbish the water. But yeah, we are staying warm. I hope everyone else, by the time you see this, the storm will have passed. So I hope everyone stayed safe and stayed warm during the storm. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.